Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Summer of Sport. This is a BookTube event created by Mark at Book Time with Elvis, designed to celebrate sports literature, fiction and nonfiction, all the sports literature that's out there. It is not designed to celebrate what you might think if you watch just my videos. Because I seem to have fallen into a pattern, and I tried to heave myself out of that pattern, and it has pulled me right back in. I don't know how long that's going to last. We have all summer. So there's plenty of chance for me to read. The pattern has been for the gays. Might as well come right out and say that. The pattern has been that no matter what iteration, no matter what sport I find, I somehow find myself gravitating down the gravity well of the gay romance fiction iteration of that sport. Recently, I have been learning, to my horror, about rugby. I have been learning all the different details about rugby, all the different kinds of rugby, the different, let's be honest here, denominations of rugby. I don't claim to know anything about it. I don't claim to even understand what rugby fans have told me. They don't seem to make much sense. Maybe all sports are like that to outsiders. But it no sooner took 2 or 3 books about rugby before, sure enough, Amazon's algorithm was directing me to gay rugby romance, which I did not think was possible. Reading the books, the nonfiction books that I didn't think it was possible. But anything's possible when it comes to the indie world. So we have an author going under the pen name of Jax Calder. And this is Playing for Keeps. And believe it or not, it is a gay rugby romance. This is number 3 in the Sporting Secrets series. And that originally worried me, but I think this is much along the lines of typical heterosexual romance series where the author will plunk you down in a town or in a métier, a sporting event or something like that. And there will be the 2 main characters, and they will meet cute or have a second chance romance or whatnot, and surrounding them will be a cast of characters, of supporting characters. And it is just understood, it has been understood for 50 years in romance novels, that if the series takes off, if readers want more of it, all of those supporting characters will get novels of their own. I strongly suspect that's what I'm getting here. A couple of the characters that, the supporting characters in this book that come up and are mentioned in that elbow nudging way that is, I think, a clear indication that they were the stars of previous books. But and this is the story of Ethan and Luke. It's the story of Ethan and Luke as they were, and appears to be, from the way they were, utterly impossible that it will be a story of them the way they are, or much less the way they will be. They are both rugby players. And I should get out of the way right away here that you could easily, Jax Calder could easily have written. Jax is a fictional character, okay? As long as can we get that clear? It's Jadzia Dax. Anyway. Jax Calder could easily have written this book without any mention of or knowledge of rugby, and yet the rugby scenes in here are pretty interesting. They are not at all mailed in. They are not at all extra. But to get back to Ethan and Luke, they have, to put it mildly, a troubled past. They were, once upon a time, everything to each other. In one way or another, in some way or another, they were everything to each other. And then Ethan seduced Luke's sister, which felt to Luke like a betrayal on many levels. And now years have passed, and Ethan is playing rugby for New Zealand, and I don't even know what that means in terms of, the book doesn't go into what that means in terms of all these Byzantine religious denominations of what kind of rugby they're playing. I have no idea. Would I be dismissive of an entire sport if I were to say that no rugby players look like that? Or ever could? They don't have much in the way of body armor. They are very much encouraged to kill each other. Anyway, I guess if hockey players can be in romance novels when they're not anything to look home about, none of them have any teeth, well, then rugby players can too. But Ethan is playing rugby in New Zealand, and he is happy. He is happy. Yes, he hurt Luke, but Luke is in the past. He is a single dad. He has a child, and he adores that. He's largely liking his life, although the feelings definitely weren't one way. Ethan felt for Luke what Luke felt for Ethan. So there's still the feeling that you are living with a heartache, when suddenly, who should come to New Zealand but Luke? Now, Luke has also, at least nominally, moved on. He hasn't been bent over and bleeding heartache this whole time. He has a boyfriend, he has a settled life, and he wants his time on this team to make him a star. He's dedicated to his team, to his sport. And yet, once they get together again, sparks start to fly. And emotions start to deepen, and they find themselves alone. It's the usual gambit with sports romances, now that I appear to be an expert in them, is that the players will find themselves alone. Sometimes they'll be forced on a road trip to share a bed. They will have intimate moments. In other words, the locker room will throw them together. And they start to develop feelings for each other, and neither one of them wants that. Boy, some things never change, no matter how long you stop making videos. Hang on. That sound you hear, not the ear-piercing siren, but the other sound in the video, is birdsong. You hear birds chirping. That's because there's no traffic. There's nothing anywhere around here. There's no reason to run a siren at all. There are no intersections that go in more than one direction. There's no chance of a crash, no chance of anything. You're just doing it because you're bored. That's all. But anyway. And also, I should point out, I won't rant on it forever, is it illegal for you to run a siren just because you're bored? Yes, it is illegal. You are breaking the law. You are breaking Massachusetts law to do that. But anyway, I've long since made my peace. If I refilmed every video that was interrupted by an ear-piercing siren, I would never, in fact, make any videos at all on BookTube. So, where was I? The point that I was trying to make here is that neither one of these two, when this novel is in the halfway point, wants to feel more for each other than they have. Better crusted over pain than the complication of anything new, especially since the anything new can't happen. One is in a committed, loving relationship, and the other is a single dad. And that made me, when I got to that point in the book, this was another Kindle Unlimited thing, and when I got to that point in the book, I was honestly wondering, I was invested. It's not sterling prose, but I was, sterling prose is probably the name one of these authors takes on. It wasn't sterling prose, but I was invested. Jax Calder does just enough to make me invested. Not only in the characters as they are now, but what on earth are you going to do to in any way resolve this story? How are you going to give these characters any kind of a happy ending when it looks like you've set yourself up to make that impossible without betraying people who are in the story, in the narrative, who are innocent? And this author manages to do it. The ending was what put a smile on my face for a good long while. This was good, in other words. I don't know why I've ever done to deserve this, but this gay rugby romance was good. If you are somehow in the mood for such a thing, you will not go wrong with playing for keeps. The only problem with it is that it uses a cliche as a title, which books should never do. I don't care if Jax Calder is a bot. I don't care if Jax Calder is AI. AI ought to know better. You should never put a cliche in your title as your title. That should never be true. And that's not the only book with a cliche in its title I'll be talking about today, so I can just imagine. But anyway, that's my report for Summer of Sport. I am not, I repeat, not going to go down a rabbit hole of gay rugby romance. But now I'm wondering if this is just going to keep happening. I mean, Amazon watches everything that every one of us does. If I say I'm going to wrench myself out of the gay rugby romance black hole by, I don't even know. Pick golf. If I say that I'm going to read a history of golf, maybe reread the greatest game ever played, which I really liked when I read it 30 years ago. If I say that I'm going to do that, and I do that, and maybe after that I go on to read some not only nonfiction, but didactic nonfiction, like Ben Hogan's book on golf, which I read 35 years ago. If I do that, am I going to start to get swamped with gay golf romances? I don't know. I don't have any idea. We don't control Summer of Sport. So that is my report for today. It's by no means negative. So I will move on. We will see what happens for tomorrow. Thank you, BookTube.